Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be reacting to the feminists making a fool of themselves for 10 minutes. Now, I've been wanting to do a lot of videos like this because it's so funny. It's fucking hilarious, actually, seeing feminists get shit on nowadays, especially with everything that's going on in the world. I'm not hating on them or anything like that, but I think it's funny when, obviously, the movement regarding feminism nowadays is not what it used to be, and it's getting taken way out of proportion by these feminists just over-exaggerating these broad claims, basically degrading men in a sense is what they're doing. And I think it's hilarious when they get shit on nowadays, and I think a lot of people out there agree with me on that. Now, I don't think this is going to get copyright strike too much because I'm going to be talking through this, so if there's any issues, I'm just going to have to speak a little bit more throughout the video, but it's about 10 minutes and some of these I haven't seen, some of them I have, so this is going to be very interesting. I got my vape. Got something to drink, and let's kind of get on into this here. This should be good. I think this is going to be good.
What is the force, Trisha, what is the force that causes objects to fall to the ground?
Gravity.
Girl, you better.
I know this because my titties are low thanks to gravity.
Yay! A personal anecdote.
Can we just also
No
say
way
we don't
he
actually
turned
need gravity?
trans. Did?
But that's a different thing.
What do you mean by
I
that?
saw someone do this. Was this a TikTok? We were watching something.
Hold on. That's a guy from a podcast? If somebody knows this, can you let me know in the comments? I forget what podcast that the guy's from, but is he trans now? There's no way he's trans. What the fuck? Unless he's not, and I'm just taking what he's wearing out of context, but fuck me if that's... Oh, okay, continue.
Actually need gravity. But that's a different thing.
What do you mean by
I
that?
saw someone do this. Was this a TikTok? We were watching something where someone's like, we don't actually need gravity. We were watching this with me. Like, we actually don't need it.
What do you mean that we don't need gravity?
We do need gravity.
What if it was never invented?
Invented by who?
Sir Isaac Newton.
Isaac Newton created gravity?
Whoever created gravity, someone did, but we don't actually need it.
There was,
We
a
could have
time
just
on, there was a time on Earth before gravity existed?
Yes. Who created gravity,
Oh
babe?
my god, she's not serious. I've
Dan.
seen this before, but it's
It was
too
Isaac
fucking
Newton,
funny.
you're right.
I've seen
You were
clips
in
of
the
it.
right ballpark. Sir Isaac Newton perhaps first defined and discovered
Maybe-
gravity. He
What do you
didn't
mean we don't
invent
need gravity? I'm curious about that
We just
statement.
don't need it.
But, like, what do you mean?
The moon doesn't have gravity.
It does.
We do need
All
gravity.
bodies, all celestial bodies. I mean,
Nobody
all bodies
created
do
All
have
mass.
gravity.
Gravity is
Anything with
gravity.
mass has gravity.
In fact, some would say you have a sizable amount of gravity.
What's that mean? I'm fat? You're calling me fat
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Oh.
attractive. Thank you, Moses.
Well,
Okay,
you're
maybe he's not
fat.
trans.
We've got
Sorry if
quite a
that's-
large
I don't
pay
know.
dispute happening with our Australian women's
Fuck me,
soccer
she's
team at the
stupid.
moment. Is it frustrating for you as someone who's so prominent in your sport? And we heard you say on the Ellen show the other day you are the richest fighter in UFC, that sort of thing is still going on?
I think that how much you get paid should have something to do with how much money you bring in. I'm the highest paid fighter, not because Dina and Lorenzo wanted to do something nice for the ladies. They do it because I bring in the highest numbers. They do it because I make them the most money. And I think that the money that they make should be proportionate to the money that they bring in.
Because that's all guys
That is
want.
true. Facts.
All guys want is
That is facts. And 100% of people, I think 100% of people will agree with me on that, is yeah, the money that you make should be proportionate to the money that you bring in. Same with like football players, NBA players. They bring in the numbers. They bring in the viewers. Same with Twitch streamers. And why do you think Aiden Ross got $75 million to stream on Kick? Because he brings in per stream like 65 to 70,000 viewers. I think yesterday he was at 65,000 viewers. So again, I 100% agree with her on that. And I think a lot of you out there should agree with her too.
see. Swear to God.
What?
No. Let me
These guys
rephrase
are
that.
funny.
Shitty men want pussy, and that's all they want from you. Hire guys that are worth more, that will benefit your life more. They're not just gonna want pussy from you, and that's a fact.
Or could it be that the men that only want sex from women is because that's all that the women have to offer?
That is
Because for
facts,
me,
too.
if
Seen this
pussy is
before.
all you're offering, pussy is all I want.
Yeah.
Look at them all quiet.
Just like, you know what? How many
Put in
times
your
you've gotten to a
place.
club into VIP for free when some ugly chicks had to pay full price?
Is that my fault?
No. I've asked how many times it happened before you go down that path.
I mean, plenty of times in Miami.
Exactly, but that's not fair, is it?
No.
Well, please don't forget I'm not from here.
But that's not the point, ma'am. That's not fair, is it?
I also don't care about those things.
But so you only care about fairness when it doesn't benefit you.
I just don't go to clubs that often.
But that's not the point. I asked you how many times you've gone to a club where you got in free, where ugly chicks or less attractive chicks had to pay, and you know that's happened. You didn't say, "I'm still." Excuse me, sir. Even though I'm attractive, I demand that you charge me full price. You're okay with the double standards that benefit you, but the ones you don't like, you just throw at the wind. Use sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right to deflect and dismiss guys who are normally intimidated by this thing. I'm not. I'm just challenging your positions. You're okay with it not being fair when it benefits you.
Michael, do you know what the leading cause of death for pregnant people is?
Pregnant people? Mothers? Women?
If you'd like to call them mothers, not all of them are mothers. People is.
Pregnant people.
You're okay with it not being fair when it benefits you.
Michael, do you know what the leading cause of death for pregnant people is?
Pregnant people? Mothers? Women?
If you'd like to call them mothers, not all of them are mothers, but if you'd like to call them that.
What are they if they're not mothers?
They're pregnant people.
What people other than mothers are pregnant?
Does it bother you to use inclusive language?
Well,
It's just interesting.
I prefer to use precise language.
It's interesting because you come into this conversation, trying to hold this moral superiority, but then
I try to be moral when I can, but I
right. But when I use inclusive language, which it only takes a couple extra syllables to use inclusive language,
To include
and
who?
it seems to include people who don't, identify as women but can become pregnant.
So, like a
Only
person
mothers
who's born a
can be
woman
pregnant. Women.
and then identifies as a man and is pregnant.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that in order to be a moral person, I need to accept the idea that a man, someone who is born a man and looks like a man, can really become a woman. That's a prerequisite of my being a moral person.
I mean, yes. To me it is, because if you are trying to deny someone of their identity and deny what their life experience is, then that doesn't seem like a moral stance to me. I want to be accepting and I want to respect people's life experiences and respect the way that they want to identify and respect the way that they want to present themselves to the world.
Bronte, I would like to identify, I do identify actually, as the correct person on this issue of abortion. I identify as being correct and more correct than you on this issue. And I would just ask that you accept and affirm my identity. Do you?
Well, you are not a medical professional, and abortion and pregnancy
No, I'm
is
just
a
talking about my
medical
identity.
concern. That's not your identity.
That is I promise you, that's my identity.
You don't want to get married at all? You don't want a family?
I really don't like people like that say, they're just pregnant people, they're not mothers. That doesn't even make sense. Like, fuck me, that's so stupid and annoying. And I can't believe we live in a world that people have to make it difficult. And they play the victim card. It's victimization. How are you going to play the victim card for pregnant people? Pregnant people are only women. Only women can get pregnant. None of these other fucking genders or anything like that. Only a woman can get pregnant. That is a woman. And end of discussion.
You have children?
Yes, but in the future, but no now.
Well, you're 28, right?
She's pretty hot, that Asian.
When do you want to have kids?
35 maybe.
Well, at 35, 90, from a biological standpoint, at 35 years old, around 90% of your eggs are gone. And your ability to bring a child to term comes down a lot.
I don't think so. Age is a number.
I mean, you can say you don't think so, but realistically speaking, your chances of having a child bringing it to term at 35, that doesn't work often, and it's very expensive.
Yep, that is true.
I don't know. I want to enjoy my life, so I'm not ready.
28, you're not ready. When are you going to be ready?
Is that for teenage boys now, they are so terrified of the consequences of putting a foot out of line. It's hard enough being a young teenager, working out how things are, working out how to do dating and all of that, without the terror that if you touch in the wrong place at the wrong time, you may find that your whole life is destroyed.
See, I
and there
like
is
that
far
terror.
too much. Well,
I like that.
As a
I
mother
think
of
that
a
men
teenage
should be
boy, I
frightened.
don't like
Really?
that
That's
terror.
the most delicious
thing I've ever heard.
That is
I think that
awful.
men should be frightened.
I think
to
you'd
touch
feel
women in a way
differently
that
if you
they're
were,
not
if
comfortable
you were.
with.
But we're talking about
Yeah, but we're not talking
teenage years,
about. We're not
children.
talking about.
We're talking
yeah, but
about
it's an
young
interesting thing
children.
that you see. I would say
that attitude actually is part of the problem too. That's to me toxic femininity.
It is.
That is saying you should all be terrified, you men, if you put one
assaulting.
Well, I think we all understand what sexual
What is
assault
an
is.
assault?
What Isabel's talking about is that young teenage clumsiness
really
in many
hard.
cases, which is now being recategorized as assault. Is that a problem?
It's not being recategorised as assault. It's always been assault. It's just we're finally talking about it.
I don't agree with that. But I do think it's really hard for a 16, 17-year-old boy now in this environment to know even how to start
they are all
having kind of some
terrified.
kind of physical relationship with a woman.
Those good boys are all terrified.
I 100% agree with that nowadays because we've made it like for a man, if they're even trying to pick up a woman and trying to use even funny pickup lines, you're told not to. You're told it's sexual harassment. And, you know, I think maybe it's like, I don't know, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but no, I think I'm right on that because I feel like a lot of people, you don't know what to say to a woman nowadays because you don't know if they're going to take it nicely. You don't know if they're going to take it offensively. Like, you don't know if they're going to be offended because anything you could say to a woman nowadays, they could take offense to. Any pickup line that you could have said back when I was 15, 16 is no longer acceptable, which, again, is shitty. That's just the world we live in, unfortunately, and it sucks. It really, really sucks, especially with how the women are nowadays. Again, not hating on you women. Again, women are beautiful creatures that we definitely need. I'm just saying with how the world is right now, it's unfortunate. And yeah, he definitely has a point.
Terrified. I know that from talking to my son. He's just like, I'm just not going there. Is that healthy?
Yes, I think it is actually. I think it's better to not have a physical relationship than to have one that could ruin a woman's life.
But then how do they ever start?
Well, don't. If you're not 100%
Don't.
sure,
What are we going
don't.
for?
What are you going to have? A bunch of neutered boys who never
it's
had...
so obvious.
We actually do
It's
have
sort
that.
of
Gen Z is having far less sexual relationships than any ever
they
before.
are. It's true.
And I'm also interested,
Yeah, see,
I mean,
that's-
like Jordan, I look at the data and I look at the
that
studies, and
irritates
I'm really
There we
also
go.
very
Here's
much
handsome
interested
Jordan
in studies like the analysis that was done by the American Psychological Society, which looked at 45 analysis of whether there's sex difference over 20 years. And its conclusion was that men and women are basically alike in terms of personality, in terms of cognitive ability, in terms of leadership. But what it did find was that media depictions of men and women as fundamentally
God, I love
different
Jordan Peterson.
perpetuate misconceptions, as does workplace bias.
Oh, God, so it's my fault.
So, no, well, you know, you're leaving soon. It's
Men and women actually are more the same than they are different. But the issue is that small differences at the population level can turn into very large differences at the extreme. So, for example, men and women are broadly similar with regards to aggression, although men tilt a little bit more towards aggression. So that if you picked a random person out of the population, male and female, and you guessed that the male was more aggressive, you'd be right 60% of the time. But if you take the 1 in 100 most aggressive people, they're all male. And that's why the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that, just out of curiosity? What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in the humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that? And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender.
Okay, we're going to be taking a look at a lot more videos
When it
like
comes
this,
to
you
video
guys.
creation.
So if you guys haven't already, the video I
Trisha,
was
what is-
watching here was from Laugh Planet, so make sure to check them out. I don't want to get copyright striked or anything like that, but make sure to check them out down here. So yeah, this was awesome. This was hilarious, this first one with her. Go ahead and watch the video for yourself. I'll link it down below in the description. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm going to be doing more videos like this because I feel like, yeah, nowadays men are getting shit on pretty hard. And I'm not trying to shit on women or anything like that. I love watching videos like this, though, and I love reacting to it because I think it's funny, especially with the world that we're in right now. Like, we haven't been in a world more victimized than we are now. People claiming playing the victim card, basically, in a sense. I think it's hilarious, and I think this is like just one hell of a world that we're living in. 2023 North America, because I'm saying for Canada and the US right now, especially with the trans issues, especially with the women's issues with the OnlyFans and everything like that. So Jordan Peterson makes a very good point, though. Like, more males are in prison, And he says a lot of good stuff. So if you don't know who Jordan Peterson is, definitely do a couple searches on him on YouTube. He's got amazing videos. This is a very good video to watch as well. There was plenty of motivation to take me out. 65 million views. Holy hell. I'm going to have to watch that again. That was an amazing video. And he does the lion diet, which is pretty interesting as well. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the subscribe button, like the video. Comment down what you think of all of this. And let me know if you want to see more like this in the future. Hit the like button, subscribe, you guys. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.